Hello there, you amazing people. Welcome to Rise Up to Positivity. I am Heather, your positive mindset coach, here to help you quiet that negative self-talk, build an unshakable positive mindset while creating a more confident and fulfilling life without all that stress and self-doubt holding you back. Today, we are going to do something that's going to feel unfamiliar. I want you to stop. Not scroll, not plan what's next. Just stop. Look around. Feel where you are right now. Because something quietly extraordinary has happened between the bare branches of March and where you are sitting today. And I don't want you to rush past it. Spring doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It arrives in whispers. A crocus through the mud, a smell in the air you can't name but somehow recognize. And your own growth this season? It happened exactly the same way. Quietly, steadily, in ways you might have missed entirely if we don't stop and look at it right now. So that's what today is for. We are stopping. We are looking back at the whole beautiful, complicated, tender season we just walked through together. And we are going to feel it also, not just check it off. This is the spring finale, and I am so deeply grateful you are here. I want to take you somewhere. Not far, just back to the cold, uncertain beginning of spring. Back to who you were in March. What were you carrying? What felt frozen? What felt too heavy to lift or too tender to touch? Spring is a season of things that refuse to give up. Of roots that held through winter even when nothing showed above surface. That's you. That has been you. So let me remind you of our 4 themes. As I name each one, I want you to close your eyes or let a gaze go soft and just ask yourself, what even a little is different than it was? Relationships. Think about the people in your life. Not the perfect moments, the real ones. The texts you almost didn't send. The conversations you almost steered towards safe and shallow, but didn't. The person you showed up for more fully than you thought you could. Spring is about roots. Some run deep, some have been dormant, and some have been quietly watering without even realizing it. Is there one relationship right now, just one, that has a little bit more spring air in it did than it did in March? A crack of light through a door you were scared to open? Even one moment of real connection counts. Let yourself feel that. Self-talk. I want you to turn your attention inward to that voice that has been with you your whole entire life. The one that for so many of us has been running a quiet but relentless background track of not enough. Has that softened? Even a slightly? Have there been moments, one, two, maybe three, where you caught an old thought rising like frost and chose not to let it settle? Where you said something to yourself that felt almost foreign because it was so much kinder than what you were used to? Spring does not fall all at once. It happens by degrees. 1 degree warmer, then another. If your inner voice is 1 degree kinder than it was in March, that is growth. Real, hard won, quietly radical growth. Gratitude. Now bring your attention to the light, the ordinary, the unremarkable, easy to miss light. Are you slowing down a little more than you used to? Has there been a moment this spring, some random Tuesday, some unremarkable afternoon, where something actually landed? Where you received it instead of letting it pass through? A single blossom on a branch that looked dead all winter is worth stopping for. And if you took the 21-day gratitude challenge, I want you to remember, you changed the channel your attention was tuned into. You started finding things that were there all along, waiting to be noticed. Habits. Look at your days now. The mornings, the evenings, the small rituals that quietly shape who you're becoming. Is there one seed you planted that's now something you can see? One morning that starts a little differently? One evening that closes with a little bit more peace? Seeds don't announce themselves. You put them in the cold ground, and for a while, nothing. And then one day, you look down, and something green is pushing through. Something that wasn't there before. You planted that. Don't forget that you did that. This is spring of harvest. It belongs to you. You earned every inch of it. I know some of you are watching right now and hearing all of that and feeling not quite proud. Feeling that quiet sting of, I didn't do enough. You started the gratitude challenge and lost the thread. You set an intention and March came and went. You kept meaning to make that call, and spring is almost over, and you still haven't. I know that feeling. And here's what I want you to know: the voice that's been telling you everything you didn't do is that exact voice we've been talking about all season. It's doing the thing right now. The same old frost trying to settle back in. Don't let it. Spring doesn't look like a highlighted reel. It looks like one morning when their anxious thought was just a little quieter. One afternoon where you were kinder to yourself without even trying. One evening where you noticed the light was beautiful and you let yourself feel it instead of moving on. Those moments aren't footnotes. They are the whole work. If you showed up at all, imperfectly, inconsistently, some of the time, you still grew. That's the truth. And I will say it again, slower. In this case, part of you is still arguing you grew. You showed up. That's what matters. I'm going to share with you what this spring has been like for me. Not the coach version, not the version that sounds like I have it all figured out. The real version. This spring, I did something I've been too afraid to do for a very, very long time. I showed up publicly, week after week, as myself. Not a polished version of myself, not a character, me. With my real stories, my real fears, my real, I've been there because I've been through it moments. And every single week, the self-doubt was right there alongside me. Every single week, some version of who are you to try to make this into a recording with me. Tried to convince me to stay small, to stay quiet, to wait until I was more ready, more polished, more sure. What's the difference this spring is that I did it anyway. I pressed that record button. I showed up. Not because the doubt disappeared, but because I stopped letting it sit in the driver's seat. And that's what this whole spring was about for me. My gratitude practice cracked me open in ways I generally did not see coming. There was an afternoon, gray and ordinary, when I sat down to write a letter to someone who had been kind to me years ago. You heard about in episode 10. I cried while writing that letter. Not a pretty cry either. A real ugly cry. Because into an hour of writing, I remembered something. I've been moving too fast to feel that I have been held and loved and helped through some of the hardest seasons of my life. I've been rushing past it all. Gratitude slowed me down enough to receive it. I repaired a friendship this spring. I told you about that voice note, the 45-second message I almost deleted 4 times. That friendship is now one of my most alive relationships in my life. I didn't know that was waiting on the other side. I just knew I was scared, but sent it anyway. And my anxiety, this companion I never asked for and spent years fighting, is a little quieter this spring. Not gone, not fixed, but quieter. The way the garden gets quieter after the last frost passes. I came into the spring wanting to help you grow. And what I didn't expect was how much you helped me grow too. That's the gift I didn't see coming. That's what this season gave me. Now I want to hear yours. In the comments below, tell me one thing that bloomed this spring. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be pretty. A habit that stuck, a conversation you finally had, a moment where you were softened with yourself than you've ever been, a morning that felt different. One bloom. That's all. And if you never commented before, make it this episode. Because your growth deserves to be witnessed. Not just by you. Privately, quietly, in a way that is too easy to minimize. But by a community of people who have been doing the work alongside you all spring. We grew together. And together is how we keep growing. Spring has taught us something this season. It has taught us that growth doesn't always announce itself. The bravest things often happen quietly, in a journal entry that no one reads, in a voice message you almost delete, in a single kinder thought towards yourself on an otherwise unremarkable Wednesday. I taught this to tend the roots even when we can't see them. It taught us to tend the roots even when we can't see them. To trust the process even when the ground still looks frozen. To show up and show up again and keep showing up. Not because it always feels good, but because we are worth showing up. And now, summer's coming. And summer is something else entirely. Summer is the expansion. Summer is the abundance and light and the full extraordinary bloom of everything that survived the cold and quietly grew in spring. Summer is not where we plant, it's where we finally get to open. Come back next week, because we are crossing the seasons together. And I cannot wait to see the light that brings out in all of us. If this episode meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear that they've grown more than they realize. Because we both know someone like that. And also, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our bridge into summer. I will see you next week, you amazing people.